Alright folks, welcome back to another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. Today we're going to have Grey Knights, and I've got this guy Sean here that I met today, who is a friend of our gaming group, and he is bringing Grey Knights. So this is going to be kind of a fun game. I have never ever had a chance to play Grey Knights against Grey Knights, and I've always really wanted to. And his list is really different from mine, and you'll see that as we go through the armies, so I'm excited about it. So I'll start up here with all the different HQs. So I've got Brother Captain with a hammer back here. Got the Chaplain, kit bashed this guy together to be like the Chaplain Dirindin, I think is his name. He's like in the lore, he's like one of the only named Grey Knights chaplains. Got the Warlord, actually today will be the Ancient, Paladin Ancient, first to the fray. He has the Augurium Scrolls and the Incinerator. Then I have Voldus, and I have Librarian with the Sanctic Shard. For my troops, I've got 1, 2, and 3 squads of Terminators. Each of the squads has a side cannon. There's a bunch of falchions in there and halberds. I've got 2 squads of Interceptors today, so 2 5-man groups. That's it. The white bases have Vortex of Doom as their spell, and then the other bases, the black bases, have Astral Aim. Then I've got the one big blob of Paladins, so I've got the 10-man Paladin Bomb. And that is it for mine. It comes out to a weird number. It's like 1993 or something strange. And there's no way to shift any points and all that jazz. So that's where I sit. 2 patrols, and I've got 9 command points to start. And then Sean's Grey Knights. He's got bodies for days compared to my list. So he's got the 3 squads of 10 Strike Marines, right? Yep. And then Paladins.
10 Paladins, all with halberds and 1 Thunderhammer on Sergeant.
Cool. That's how I like them too.
My friend made this. This is going to be Drago.
Excellent.
Grandmaster. My Warlord is a Librarian. And I have a Apothecary for
Apothecary.
And then the piece of resistance.
Yes. The good old Land Raider with the dual las cannons. I have mine. It doesn't look quite as nice as yours. This is really good. But I haven't brought my poor Land Raider out in a little while. So this will be fun. This will be a really different game. 2 very different styles of Grey Knights armies, which I also think is really cool. So we'll get to have a little bit of fun with this. We'll get some deployment rolled up, roll the missions, do all that jazz, and then we will be back in a little bit. All right, folks, we have rolled up mission number 13, Vital Intelligence. So we've got this nice string of objectives right down the middle of the board. Then there's one over there in his zone, one over here in his zone. He won the roll off for deployment, so he chose to go to that side because there's a nice building that covers up his Land Raider very neatly. Then he's got some Strike Marines back there. He's got
and inside the...
Oh yeah, and a squad inside there. Did you have a character? Oh, Grandmaster's back there as well, right? All right, cool. And then up here with the nice Paladin Bomb, you've got a Drago, an Apothecary, and Librarian. Okay, that's how I thought you put someone else in there. Then you got Strike Boys over here, hanging out by this building, and that is that. On my side, I've got Terminators and Voldus. I've got Interceptors in the front. Got Terminators and the Librarian. Got the Captain, Paladin Bomb, Chappies right there, Interceptors, and more Terminators right there in the corner. And there you have it. So for this mission, we have done our secondaries. I don't remember all 3 of them off the top of my head, but we'll see them in a second. I'll put them up on the screen. And we're going to roll off and see who's going to end up going first. So if you want to grab a die, we can do that real fast. Let's see. Yeah. So, you ready? I'll let you get a dice. I'll let you roll first. I like to let the guest roll, and then we'll see who goes first. Here we go.
3.
A 3. All right, here I go. Oh, I got a 5. Okay, so I would say Grey Knights get to take the first turn, but that would have been the case either way. So I'll be back after my Grey Knights' first turn. We'll keep you posted.
Lost 2 models.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. So my Grey Knights, I guess I'm going to have to say it that way. Turn 1 is over. Terminators move forward. Couldn't get onto that without advancing, and then they can't do the action. So we just jumped Voldus over that way. These guys moved up, and then I forgot about not shooting them. So I went ahead and shot them instead of raising a banner. So that was bad on my part. They all sat still, raised a banner. Over here, oh, our psychic phase was funny. He denied Hammerhand And then I did cast Astral Aim and Sanctuary, and we both rolled like 8s and 9s for everything, but mine was up 1 from his on these 2 spells. And Armored Resilience was cast over there on those guys. So it was kind of entertaining. I don't think there'll be a lot more Psychic happening after this, because now we're both in range to deny almost everything. I spent command points for them to have steady advance, so they were shooting rapid fire, which I should not have done it either because I could have raised a banner. I totally forgot. That's why I moved them there. And I don't think they did anything. The Paladins did manage to kill 1 Paladin. Or no, they did 2. 1 was Stormbolters and 1 was Silencers. So they used Fury of the Proven and Astral Aim. And that was that. My Chaplain attempted to give the extra 6-inch range to the Paladins and failed his litany, which Sean and I both kind of laughed about that because the Chaplain doesn't cast litanies very well for Grey Knights, but I keep trying. And these guys are moving up to try to get on that objective so I can raise some banners over there. They did shoot some little chip shots in and did nothing to these guys because he was in the Tide of Shadows. I am also in the Tide of Shadows. Yeah, very shadowy. That's it. So I will score 2 points for engage on the front because I do have units on 3 of the 4 quarters, and that's it. Nothing else to be scored for this turn. So yeah, we'll be back in a minute after the other Grey Knights turn 1. All right, so Sean's Grey Knights have ended their turn. These guys actually took quite a few shots, but the Armored Resilience paid off and they saved everything with Tide of Shadows, so that was nice for them. These guys moved forward. That mess of death moved forward. They did kill a Paladin and a half, well, a Paladin and a third of a Paladin with shooting. I did put Transhuman Physiology on the Paladins because of Mr. Big Tank back there. He shot and he wounded 1. I think it was the Heavy Bolter and the last cannon combined.
Last cannon wounded, but
right.
you saved
I
it.
saved
You rolled
command
1.
reroll. Yeah, I had to command reroll 1. So spend some command points.
Heavy Bolter did 1 wound.
Yep.
Or
heavy,
2 technically.
Yeah, and then we lost 1. It was Storm Bolter shots, Heavy Bolter shots. Yeah, killed some stuff. Over here, this was embarrassing. Tide of Shadows, all the good stuff, and I rolled 3 1s, 4 1s against his strike squad that are in the corner there. So his strike squad killed 2 Terminators with Storm Bolters, no extra damage or anything.
And then my Apothecary actually brought a guy back.
Brought a Paladin back. The Psychic phase, we battled a bit. I blocked his Warp Shaping. Yeah, that was the one I denied.
And he failed on.
Then, oh, you're right. And then he got Astral Aim off. I was too far away to deny that one. Or no, I tried to, but I failed to deny it. I tied him again. But you got to beat him to deny it. So the Psychic battle intensifies because, you know, I guess now we'll start smiting or something. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, and this squad, they got out of the Land Raider. They moved up here, so they're data intercepting. So they didn't do anything else. And I think that's it. Oh, and the Grandmaster did go backwards. The first turn, he was available to shoot at, so I had put a Psy Cannon at him, but with a 2-up invul and Tide of Shadows, it didn't do any good. So that's it. That's the end of the turn. We both scored 2 points for engaging on 3 of the 4 fronts. Yeah, that was very exciting. Woohoo! So we're set up, I guess, to do some more work in the next turn. So we'll be back in just a minute with my Grey Knights, turn 2. All right, folks, it's the end of my turn with the Grey Knights. So end of my Grey Knights turn 2. I raised banners, smart. I raised banners, smart. I already raised that banner back there. I totally forgot to raise this banner. And I raised this banner in the back corner. So at least I raised some banners. I didn't shoot with half my army, but I raised banners. The Paladins, good times. We've got a lot of things that happened. So in the Psychic phase, we were able to get Sanctuary. We were able to get Hammerhand. Able to get ethereal manipulation. And then my Chaplain actually did a thing. He cast the Litany of Faith, which is the 5-up Feel No Pain, and it did come into play, kept Paladin alive. Made the charge, because I deep struck my Ancient here. With the reroll, we made the charge into his Paladin squad. So Paladins, killing Paladins, it's kind of tragic. It's kind of interesting. So I killed 7 in this turn. Yeah, so he just paid the CP to auto pass them. But that was kind of a big deal. So that is what they have done. I only have 3 interceptors now because I spent the command point for 3d6 Vortex of Doom and rolled a 12. So I killed 2, and then I killed a paladin. It was kind of sad. But I did actually tickle Drago. So he's down to 5 wounds. So, you know, I mean, the apothecary.
For now.
Yeah, the apothecary gets to choose. Does he heal Drago? Does he bring back a paladin? No, whatever. But there's not much else to tell. Everything else stayed still except for these guys shuffled up forwards. My librarian is in the building, but he's still just moved up, sitting on the objective as well. That's about all there is to it. These guys both moved forward, but there's not anybody near them anymore because we used Gate of Infinity and they left them in the dust. So that's that. That's the end of my turn. We'll have to do a measure actually before I know. I think the paladins are fully in your table quarter, but I'm not positive if they're far enough away from either that edge on the right or the center. I think we're okay. We'll measure that before we decide.
They might not be there.
They might not, yeah. I did get, what else did I get? I got 1 point for Raise the Banners. That was it. I did get 15 for the primary, so that'll help. And then that's it for my turn. So we'll be back at the end of Sean's Grey Knights, turn 2. Okie dokie, folks. It is the end of the Grey Knights' turn for turn 2 for all the Grey Knights. Haha. But Sean's turn 2 is over. So, Interceptors deleted before he could charge. So I still get a banner there at next turn, at the very least. One more time. He shot and killed my interceptors over here, so they are toast. My characters are still okay because everything else was busy shooting at these Terminators. He killed all but 2, then charged them, and they didn't have much of a prayer there. And then over here, the Paladins, this was the party piece. So I lost 4 Paladins. I got the wrong number of markers down and we were a little confused, but I did not fail morale. So the 3 dudes that stayed, we had Sanctuary cast, we had Hammerhand cast, I spent for Masters of Combat. So the 4 that he killed Drago.
And Carry.
Yeah, oh well, the ones that died with the Masters of Combat, they killed Drago. And then in my turn, when it was time to activate, these 3 guys that were left, these 2 on the end killed the Apothecary, and the Paragon with his hammer killed the last 2 Paladins. So that was a bloody bit of combat there in the middle. So, end of his turn, he got 2 more points for engage on all fronts. He got his data intercept points from the previous turn that counts in your command phase. And we did a lot of death and killing over here in the middle. So, you know, in reality, this is just a Grey Knights training exercise. We're not actually killing each other, right? We'd hate to do that. They're just paintballs and nasty hammers with gore on them. But yeah, there we go. So I'm down to 8 command points. Sean's got 3 left. And
You have 8 command points?
I have A as in 1, sorry. and singular command point. That did sound like I said 8. I did a magic thing with the warp, and I have 8. Haha.
Sorry, fine, because you're chaos in the sky.
Yeah, like you just didn't know it. So there we go. That is the end of the turn. Battle round 2 is over. We'll be back in just a minute for my turn 3, and we'll see what we can do. Very interesting turn of events here. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, folks, here we go. Psychic phase was a duel of mental powers and abilities, and not much happened. I did get Armored Resilience on to Voldus. I did change the Tide, and I went for the Tide of Fury, the rerolling ones to Wound, which I didn't use over there. So I did actually have combat, so way to go me. For some reason, I didn't think I was getting to use that because I only got 1 charge off, which was disappointing. So I failed the charge with Voldus, and then I command point rerolled it, still failed the charge with Voldus, so he didn't get in over there. These guys tried to do Gate of Infinity. They got shot down by these guys over on the other side of the board, so they didn't get to go anywhere. Over here, we tried for... let's see. We got the Litany off from the Chaplain, so we got the 5-up Feel No Pain on him. he was unable to cast Sanctuary because of them denying. My paladins were unable to cast Hammerhand because of denies. Yeah, it's terrific. We tried to smite. We got 2 smites off. They both came from that side of the board because they'd already used their 1 deny. Those were the only smites that went through. The rest of them got shot down. Very interesting turn. Over here, I did charge with the Ancient. He has no melee weapon, so he punched the Librarian in the face and did no damage. Then I lost 1 Paladin to the Hammer from the Justicar and the Strike Squad with a command reroll. He died, and then he was already wounded in the middle, which meant that my last guy, seeing how he didn't die in combat, was going to run away from Coherency. So Sean didn't even have to swing at him with the Librarian. The Librarian swung into my Ancient and took 3 wounds off of him. So that was interesting. And I did use the Redoubtable Defense on them, and it didn't matter. And I mean, it actually would have kept the guy that ran away alive, except Coherency was my unfriend. So that's where we sit. I did score 15 again for primary on that turn, and now we're going to have some trouble with that because of, you know, he's going to charge in over here. I failed to charge here. I was disappointed. I was like 6.3 inches away from my reroll failed charges bubble, and I rolled like 4s on all my charges until he made it with an 11, and he only needed 4 inches. So that's that. That's the end of my turn. We're going into Sean's turn 3. We'll be back in a jiffy.
Yeah.
All right, folks, end of Sean's turn 3. It was pretty brutal, actually. These guys moved up. They did the data intercept, so they didn't kill anything, which I'm thankful for, because everything else in his army killed a lot of stuff. So my guys back here are okay. These guys are data intercepting. These guys are still here. Over here, however, my captain and my chaplain both died. Captain died to a land raider, and the chaplain died to storm bolter fire. That's even worse. From the Grandmaster. He rolled 2 1s for his save, so it was amazing. Over here, Paladin killed 2, then he died. My Ancient got to punch and did no wounds, and then he died. So yeah, all my characters are pretty much dead, except for my Librarian and Boldus, and that's kind of where we sit. So we got 2 more for engage on all fronts. He'll get 2 more data intercept unless I can kill these guys. Well, yeah, and unfortunately he has to go. So that is the end of the turn for that. We'll see about score. I think in his next turn he should have gotten 5 on primary, 2 more for data intercept, engage on all fronts again, and I would have had a whole 5 points for primary myself. So that, he would have actually ended up with 15 then, or 10. Sorry, because you'd have, you'd have 3, so it would be 15. So he'll get the full 15 on his turn. But yeah, there we have it. So it's been a fun game. Grey Knights versus Grey Knights, very different armies. Hope y'all enjoyed that. We didn't get to play it all the way out, unfortunately, but it's been a fun game. Very interesting game. So we will be back next time on Kitchen Table Wargaming for another battle report. All right, well, Sean had to leave, but just a couple of quick takeaways that we both had from the game. My Paladin bomb hit better than his, but that was because I had first turn, so I was able to buff them before they got in range to be killed. And the banner, combined with the Augurium Scrolls, actually made a pretty big difference for the number of attacks that they were able to get out, and getting Hammerhand off twice, at least, made a big difference with them, even though he did get him in that last turn. And then the other thing, we were considering the benefits or the negatives of having the big blobs of Strike Marines versus the smaller blobs of Terminators. The staying power of the Terminators makes them pretty tasty. And he was contemplating, or saying as he was leaving, he's contemplating running some Terminators, maybe still bringing a few of the big blobs of Strike Marines, because they do put out a lot of damage on the charge, and you can give them Hammerhand like he did, and they can do some business. So it's kind of interesting. Getting first turn for Grey Knights, I feel like still is one of the biggest bonuses we can have. Just because we can do more work with the first turn, I think, as far as getting defensive buffs or offensive, for Hammerhand and things like that. So it was a wild game. I know he didn't get to talk much as he had to run, he had places to be, but it was really funny because our psychic phases were insane. We only had 1 Perils cast in that whole game, and that was with my Librarian with a Sanctic Shard, re-rolled it. We both had some failed psychic tests, and then we both denied his psychic tests a lot. His last turn, I denied his hammer hand, and I denied another spell of his. I don't remember which one it was now. So it was just back and forth with the psychic. So it was very entertaining. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry we couldn't play it out. We both still had units with Gate of Infinity. I had 2 troop units with Gate of Infinity. He still had a Land Raider. I mean, it would have been a slugfest for the last 2 turns. But either way, good game. Hope you enjoyed it. And once again, we will catch y'all later. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful time until the next video. Happy wargaming.